What's up, y'all? Welcome to Fight Club. I have the day off today, so I'm going to do a couple episodes for you. This is going to be my morning episode, then I'm going to probably do two later on. This is very short. I want to make a quick correction to yesterday's show, and then I want to talk about Nina Turner and how I disagree with her. I have been praising her a lot over the first couple of episodes, and I want to show you guys how I don't worship at the altar of Nina Turner the way that a lot of you do with AOC or, Trump, whatever. So we're not going to go over the rules today. I want to correct yesterday's episode. I said something like Bernie has been trying to invoke the War Powers Act to create ventilators and masks. It's not the War Powers Act, it's the Defense Production Act. And I know that, it was a slip of the tongue, and I woke up in the middle of the night. I'm like, no, I said the wrong thing. I'm gonna have to correct that tomorrow. It occurred to me later. So it's the Defense Production Act that can be invoked by Biden to create ventilators and masks and things for the pandemic, which he has not done. And Bernie has been fighting for that since March last year. So let's talk about Nina. Nina had an interview with the Humanist Report with Mike Figueredo. Great channel on YouTube. I highly recommend looking up some of his videos if you haven't already seen them. And it was a great interview, and Mike always asks really good questions. He asked her more or less how do you see us keeping the squad in check and holding them accountable without being mean to them and attacking them personally? Is there some sort of middle ground? And how do we actually put pressure on our politicians other than that? I mean, they want us to be nice to them to leverage them, but I mean, how else do we keep them in check? And that's a great question, especially to Nina. She's running for Congress, and she will likely become part of the squad in 2022. Now, Nina's answer was something like, no, I think we need to put pressure on our politicians, but if you're just going to cast aside the squad because they don't agree with you on everything, that's wrong. And I don't like that answer very much, because it generalizes that everybody that has a beef with the squad is automatically casting them aside simply because they didn't do the Medicare for All floor vote. And that is not true. I love AOC, but I have been very harsh with her lately. The same way I would be harsh with my daughter if she did something really, really bad that was really dangerous or something. Of course, I love her, and I'm going to be harsh with her because I love her. So it's overgeneralizing to say that people that were mad with AOC over the floor vote have just cast her aside and we're trying to replace her. That's not the case. There are some fringe people that want to do that, but that's not the main portion of AOC's, followers and people who are leftists. So I don't like that answer. And basically, I understand with Nina that she cannot, as a person that's running for Congress that will likely be part of this squad here, she has to be careful and play both sides of the fence. And this is where I'd like to get to the crux of my video today. It is okay for you to disagree with your favorite politicians and to hold them accountable. And your game plan as an outside source and the outside pressure will not always match up perfectly with the inside game. And in fact, they should not match up. Because if everybody on the outside is super, super angry and yelling at everybody, that will motivate the politicians. But then if they go in there and they scream at a bunch of people and never actually focus their plan, then they're still not going to get anything done. So their game cannot match our game, and that's okay. What is not okay is for there to be a lot of outside pressure and for the squad to do what they've been doing, which is doing nothing. And they want to tweet all day long about all these things that they care so much about, but aren't willing to withhold a vote here or there, or aren't willing to do a strike outside Nancy Pelosi's office like AOC did when she first got into office, but now doesn't do anymore. So that's not okay. They must do something and give us tangible material benefits for our outside pressure. And if that link is broken there, then I disagree with Nina. I think if they are not going to do anything, and we keep getting the pressure boiled up, and then they just keep deflating it and not going with what we want or anything near what we want, us pushing for Medicare for All and you guys getting pay-go restrictions lifted, that's a huge disconnect. That is not enough during a pandemic, and you guys think that's a victory while people are dying of COVID. There's a disconnect. You must do more than that. That is not going to be allowed. So there is a difference. So I disagree with Nina here, and here's why Nina has to do this. She's going to be part of the squad here. And something has happened on the left where you can't simultaneously right now be in favor of the squad and also like part of the Bernie bros, the Sanders swarm base, the pure base of the left, because the squad has tarnished their reputation lately as not being fighters for the left. So it's very difficult for Nina going in there knowing she has to work with these people, and she wants to be able to work with the squad, obviously, so she can't go out there and bash them the way that some of us on the left have been doing lately, because that's not going to make them want to work with her at all. And of course, she can't be nice to them, because then she will, of course, lose the base, who's very angry with the squad right now. So she has to play both sides of the fence. And I wrote to her about this, and I thought, this was in my second time writing to her, I said, the best thing you can do when you're running is to have your cake and eat it too, is run on, I'm going to unify the squad. I'm going to be the catalyst that brings them together. Yes, they're well-intentioned. No, we should not cast them aside. But have they been effectual? No, they have not been effectual. And that is because they're leaderless. That's because they're spineless. They haven't had somebody that can conk their heads together like a couple of coconuts and tell them, listen, we're going to vote as a block, here's what we're going to do, and get them actually organized. They don't have that leader. I'm sorry, they just don't. And Nina could be that leader, and I think she should run on, no, let's not get rid of the squad. They're great people. They're just misguided right now. And that way you can have your cake and eat it too. It's like the left will be like, okay, that makes sense. Nina didn't go back on her Medicare for All floor vote because she wasn't in Congress yet, so she isn't tarnished. She can go in there and get them straightened out. You'll have the left still on your side, and then you'll still have the squad on your side too, because you're not demonizing them so much as just saying, well, you guys have been ineffectual and you need someone to help unify you, which they absolutely do. They don't have a leader. I don't think they have anybody that's strong enough charismatically or of character or of moral to be the leader of the squad. They're all kind of spineless in their own way, and Nina is not. So that's how I would run. I wanted to get on today real quick to just correct to the Defense Production Act from the episode yesterday. And it is okay for you to disagree with your favorite politician. I agree with Nina 95% of the time, but I did not like that answer. It was still a great interview, but I do understand why she is answering questions like that, because she has to play both sides of the fence so she doesn't alienate the AOC lovers or the base, and those two groups are very separate right now. But if she can bring the squad together, vote as a block, get some things done, then she will prove that she is the leader that we all think she is, and I think that's how she should run on the campaign trail for Congress. So, lastly, your inside game does not need to meet your outside game, but you must get some sort of tangible results. So, when Nina gets in there, if we don't lose the House and we can still vote as a block, a lot of people are saying, well, when Nina doesn't get everything done that the left wants, they'll turn on her too. Some people will, but I don't expect that she's going to be as ineffectual as the squad has been. I think that she has the spine to stand up to people like Nancy Pelosi, and if she had been in there during the Medicare for All floor vote, I think she probably would have been the one to not vote for Nancy Pelosi. I honestly believe that she would have withheld her vote for Medicare for All. And if one of them had fallen, I mean, maybe Cori Bush then, if she sees Nina do it, she might withhold. And then once one or two of them go, all 8 or 9 of them go. So I maintain that she would have withheld her vote for Nancy Pelosi. I don't know that for sure. Or she would have certainly gotten more for her vote than pay-go restrictions lifted. So she needs to go big, and I think that there will be less of a disconnect between the squad and the left when she's in there. I think that she's going to bridge that gap. So keep fighting the good fight. I'll be back on in a couple of hours. I got some chores to do. But tonight we're going to talk about Ro Khanna a little bit in his new bill. We're going to talk about an article that Chris Hedges wrote about the background and financial situation of many of the Capitol rioters. And it seems to correspond with what I was kind of saying, that many of them were in financial trouble. A huge portion of them were in financial trouble too. So that seems to be a motivating factor for a lot of the rioters. So we'll talk about a couple other things, but I wanted to get on and correct the record. Have a good one, guys. I'll talk to you later.